we don't necessarily agree with the current top 3 that they have for the Calder Trophy odds, especially with the numbers that are tied to them. But right now, the top 3 are Connor Bedard, minus 155, which I don't care how good this kid is. Minus 155 in this class is stupid. Luke Hughes, plus 500 of the New Jersey Devils, and Devin Levi, Buffalo Sabres, plus 900. After that, everyone is, for the most part, plus 2,000 and up. There's only 2 guys that skirt under, and those are the 2 I want to talk about because they're actually the most comparable here, Isha, being that they both just played college hockey. They both played in the Frozen Four. They both played in the toughest conference in the Big Ten. They both were nominated as members of the Hobey Hat-Trick finalists, and now they are both making their debuts. Adam Fantilli versus Logan Cooley. Who do you think has better odds to win the Calder this year?
I think Logan Cooley has better odds.
I think Logan Cooley has better odds because
it's, I'm trying not to let like my bias seep in because like I have like taken a liking to the Gophers. But I think he will just get a bigger role and be leaned upon more. I think one of the reasons why he's in Arizona right now, why he signed with the Arizona Coyotes versus coming back to the Gophers, was them selling him on that, not only just on the ice, but for the organization as a whole. But back to, again, Z kind of sold me on the last podcast too, talking about like some of the players that he could potentially play with next year, as they are, I don't want to say deep, but they do have a good top 6 cast where I think he could mesh well with and or carry a line, which again, not necessarily carrying a team to win every single game, but I do think he's going to put up a ton of points. Whereas Fantilli, I think that the team are trying to win this year, and they might give him less freedom just to go out there and just torch offensively and be, I don't know, and just abandon defense. Like, again, maybe I'm getting too into the weeds here, but I think it's going to be a little bit more structured versus Arizona, where it's just going to be like, go, we need to sell fucking tickets. We need to be exciting. We're not going to win next year. We're not even really going to try. And again, that's, you know what I mean when I say that. They're obviously going to try.
That's very much not the case, if I'm being honest, though. Like, some of the like moves they made, like, you don't bring in Jason Zucker because you're trying to be last place, right?
No, I'm not saying they're tanking, but like I think they're realistic in like,
dude, they could be, and I'm saying could be. They could be as good as number 6, maybe number 5 in the Central, which I think would be a big deal for them.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that the players care about. Because again, like, these are players that don't want to fucking lose.
No, of course.
Here's my real question then. Let's look ceiling floor, right? Who has the higher ceiling this year? Let's just assume everything goes right. And who has the lower floor to completely bottom out and do nothing? Like, do you see the same person being the highest ceiling and lowest floor, or where are you shifting those?
That's a good question. I see them having like a similar ceiling, but I feel like Cooley's floor is higher.
Again, I feel like Cooley's floor is higher because
again, I just
podcasting.
just a little bit more well-rounded in the two-way game.
Here's my answer. I picked this.
just a little bit more well-rounded on, in the two-way game. It's not much. Like, they're very, I mean, they even had very similar points this year, in the NCAA. It's just, yeah, from what I've seen, Cooley compared to Fantilli, just a little bit more well-rounded, and Fantilli, like, could very well be the guy with the higher ceiling, but from what I've seen, like, they're very similar in that regard.
So for me, I will agree with you that Cooley has the higher floor, but I think that the higher ceiling here absolutely goes to Fantilli. Basically, I don't see a world where Cooley's not at least the 3C on this team because there's a lot of guys that can play center or wing. Depends on how things shift out. Depends on how comfortable he is transitioning in. And Logan Cooley could very well finish the season as the 1C playing with Keller and whoever the fuck else. I really don't care. Awesome. I look at Fantilli and the possibility, if things go right, of him being on that first line with Gaudreau and Laine. I'm sorry, man. How do you fucking match that? You aren't matching that in any possible way in Arizona. There's a possibility that Cooley's not even on the first power play just because they do have some players with the prowess offensively and that frankly have NHL experience. I don't see a way that you don't get Adam Fantilli out there on the power play, even if he's getting sent to the bottom of the lineup. And I think Logan Cooley, like they're both a little bit of hotheads. They run a little warm, wires cross. I just see a little bit more fuck you in Adam Fantilli's game. Like he is the guy that was getting in people's faces, trying to fight. And I know it's a little bit different in college when you got cages and no one's looking to fight back, but like he's got a little bit more of that fuck you to his game and he's a little heavier boy. And you just look at that offensive upside, and I think Cooley has it as well. I think you put either of them in between a Gaudreau and a Laine, like, good night, Jim Kite. But
well, and I hope we see him there. Like, I hope he ends up in that
sure.
role because
but here's where the floor comes in. His coach is Mike Babcock. I don't know what the fuck's going to happen there. Dude, I truly have no idea.
No, that's so true. And
don't know if he's changed or not. He might not fucking play. He might get in the doghouse early and he might get benched for like teaching a lesson or some shit. I don't fucking know. Mike Babcock is the X factor that scares the shit out of me. I would actually be heavily like, again, I like Logan Cooley. I maybe even like him long-term as like the guy that could pan out better, but I would be fully on the Adam Fantilli train. Those two going head to head this year, if not for the fact that Mike Babcock's the fucking coach.
Yeah,
and that could work in his favor if he's really changed and like can script it outright. But
no, true. He just doesn't have a good track record as rookies. Yeah,
it's scary.
But I mean, Fantilli, like you said, he's
the Jersey matchup though. Kachina against the third Jersey Cannons. Oh my god, that
for Columbus, that's awesome.
Those the best two jerseys. Period.
That's true.
Convince me otherwise.
I can't.